Good afternoon, friends, neighbors, countrymen, and barrel-chested freedom fighters from all around the world. Got the old Paratrooper here, and man, it has been a phenomenal week. I'm sorry I haven't got any more content put out, but I've been terribly busy. And one of the big things that has been a part of this week is, BAM! The Long Range Reconnaissance Association rally down in Branson, Missouri. For those of you who do not know what the Long Range Reconnaissance Association is, it is a veterans organization. It was started by Vietnam veterans, particularly men who served in long-range reconnaissance patrol companies, or the LRRPs, which the Army converted to Ranger companies in 1968, and which the Army decided we didn't necessarily need long-range reconnaissance. I decided that in about the 1975, and then in the early 1980s, they said, oh man, we do really need some barrel-chested freedom fighters that can go out there and gather intelligence and perform surveillance missions. And in the early 1980s, they reactivated. We couldn't call them LRRPs because that's too Vietnam stigma. So they called them long-range surveillance detachments and companies. And we were the descendants of the Vietnam LRRPs. So we were a unit that prided itself on being quiet professionals, and we didn't beat our chest. We just did the mission, slipped in quiet. That we used to say, if you don't know anything about us, then we're doing our job. And those LRRS units, detachments, and companies, they served with a great deal of honor in all our conflicts up until about 2017, when the Army in its infinite wisdom said, we'll just replace these guys with drones. And we'll see how that works out. Anyway, like I said, went down there. I met guys who wrote the books that I read as a teenager, which influenced me to join the Army and walk around in the woods in the middle of the night with a green painted face, a heavy rucksack, and a rifle, and be a sneaky Pete, for lack of a better term. So it was a great time, and I also got to meet these fellows right here, the gentleman from Three Rangers, out of this is a premium rye whiskey. The company was started in Sheridan, Oregon, I believe, and they're also part of the Three Rangers Foundation, veterans organization, and they make some primo rye whiskey. I cannot recommend it enough. Go out and get you a bottle today. Oh, so got something else coming down the pike. Tales from the Patrol Base. What we're going to do is, in the coming weeks, we're going to interview men from various LRRS detachments and companies who served in the various conflicts, such as Desert Shield, Desert Storm, Afghanistan, Kosovo, Bosnia, Somalia, Iraq, and we're going to tell their story. Basically, we want to get their story out there the way that we got them out, the story of the LRRPs out in paperback books in the 80s. Maybe one of these podcasts will influence somebody the way the Six Silent Men series influenced me, or Charlie's Rangers, or Phantom Warriors, or Recondo. That was another good book. So look for that in the coming weeks. I think we're going to have a lot of fun doing that. So where do we leave off today? Man, there's just so much crazy stuff going on. I don't know where to start. I've had several conversations today with people from various parts of the country. When gas prices were a big part of it, and in certain parts of the country, it's well over $5. It's over $5. Here in southern Missouri, it's inching towards $5 a gallon, and that's crazy. And the fact that 2.5 years ago, it was $2 a gallon. Orange man bad, yeah, whatever. I guess what we're looking at is the people that we have that run this country in the swamp. They are buffoons. That's the only way I can say it, because they blame everybody but themselves and they are the cause of a lot of our problems. Government's not the solution. It's often the obstacle to solve things. Now, I will say this for our beloved president, Sleepy Joe. I don't think he necessarily has all his faculties, and he probably believes what he says. But the problem is his party, the Democrats, are captured by the progressive left, and currently they control the legislative branch and the executive branch. And they are they believe what they're putting out, their own poo. They believe their own poo. B, they know that what they're telling the American people is not true, but they're just doing it to hide an agenda. C, they're incredibly incompetent and don't understand economics. And D, they're corrupt. Well, probably E, probably a little bit of everything above that. It's just phenomenally frustrating. I remember like 2 or 3 years ago when we were talking about fracking, and I always understood the price point for fracking to be profitable was $2.50 per gallon. Well, call me crazy, but I think we're there. But why aren't we doing it? Oh yeah, that's right. The progressive left does not want that. And all you peasants, you just need to go get an electric car or whatever, or to get on mass transit and just listen to what us elites in the swamp have to tell you, and your lives will be so much better. Good Lord, I can't believe they believe that. But anyway, one of the things that really I find frustrating is that people become career politicians. I don't think that most people that become career politicians do it because they want to be statesmen. I think most of them do it because they want power, and money. Those seem to be two driving factors for most people. And unfortunately, the people that go into politics often are not our best and brightest. Often the people that when the best and brightest do have to get into politics, it's to fix what the morons who went in there and screwed up. And another problem that we've got here is we are creating political dynasties and a ruling class. And I will point this out. And just to be fair, I'm not going to pick on the Democrats. I'm going to pick on the Republicans. In my own state of Missouri, we have a senator named Roy Blunt. He went to D.C. He went into politics in his early 30s. And he went to D.C., I want to say when he was about 35 or mid-1980s. And he's been up there and won either as a congressman, senator, or something in some way, shape, or form or another since then. And now he's finally getting ready to retire. And he actually does have a pretty good rating as a conservative. But Roy, he's kind of a squishy conservative. I don't think he has a moral base. Matter of fact, I know some of his family, and they say the same thing. But again, that's just hearsay. But the problem is, Roy had 3 kids. And amazingly, you'd think if I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, I'd been like, Dad, I want to be a Formula One race car driver. Or I want to be a cowboy or something like that. But strangely, they all became corporate lobbyists. Making a little of that swamp living. Not like swamp people on the History Channel. Although maybe the History Channel ought to do it. Swamp people and just make it about people who live in Northern Virginia and work in D.C. That'd be a different kind of swamp people. Well, anyway, all of Roy's children became corporate lobbyists. And now he's got a son, Matt Blunt, he's a relatively decent politician for one who's on my side. But I don't trust him. There's very few politicians I trust. And as a responsible citizen, I don't think we should trust very many of them either. But basically what we're doing, I guarantee, I'd bet dollars to donut that someone in Matt's family will also be a politician. Oh, Lord. So we've allowed these political dynasties to happen. And, for example, George, the Bushes, that's a political dynasty. I think the Clintons would like to be a political dynasty, but I don't think Chelsea has the personality of her father, Bill. She leans more towards her mother, who's kind of a despicable person. Which brings up another subject. I was looking at the news again, and they were talking about how Trump was going to be arrested this time, these January 6 hearings, and he's going to be arrested. We finally got him. Well, they said that for his entire presidency. Still not arrested him. I've been waiting 22 years for Hillary Clinton to be indicted for something. Not only is she corrupt, but she's a genuinely, from the people that I have known who have actually known and worked for, she's a kind of a really nasty human being, and you wouldn't really want to be around her. She's a very unpleasant person. Plus, it seems like a lot of people around the Clintons kill themselves too. Even Jeffrey Epstein, yeah, that was one too. Yeah, they knew him as well. Anyway, but I've been waiting 20 years for her to be indicted, and it's never happened. It's all just political theater. The same with Trump. Although what the Democrats are trying to do, they're just trying to discredit him enough that he doesn't run for president again. Trust me, I don't think Donald Trump gives two farts what they think, and I'm fairly confident he'll run for president. That being said, I think that what we're saying is we have seen the creation of a political ruling class, and it is our duty as responsible citizens to not elect the sons and daughters of politicians. And I wish I could figure out a lawful way to keep them from becoming corporate lobbyists. Because, look at Hunter Biden. Man, what a train wreck. And that guy, he was lobbying around the world, getting money. There's just so much on Joe and Hunter. They are literally the textbook case of corruption. And I am really quite surprised that I firmly believe that if Joe's son, Bo, had lived, he would have went into politics as well. You got to keep that family dynasty going. You got to keep that corrupt money coming in. Yeah, it is what it is, and we got to fight it every single day. We've got the midterms coming up in November, and we're going to kick some butt there. Let's keep the momentum up, and let's get on down to 2024 to where we can get a good president in, and we can stop and turn this rot that is in our country, turn it around, and get back on the path of prosperity and righteousness. Amen. All right, freedom fighters, you watch your six, you continue to train, and God bless America.